Debate. Like the catalog debate.
Controversial debates in Roblox. What?
So the prayer is...
Pete Hegseth quoted a fake Bible verse from Pulp Fiction.
So the prayer is Caesar 25:17, and it reads and pray.
Okay, it's been a long time since I had to memorize Old and New Testament books. Is Caesark? Is this like a Torah thing, or is there a different non-Catholic Bible? Wait, what?
So the prayer is Caesar 25:17.
Caesar? Is that a book in the Bible?
17, and it reads and pray with me, please.
Caesar, combat, search and rescue. Oh, my bad. Okay.
So the prayer is Caesar 25:17, and it reads and pray with
Well, why is he saying 25:17? That's a chapter verse. Wait, shut the fuck up. You trolled me.
me, please. The path of the downed aviator is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men.
I would need full context. Never mind. I can't. It feels like he's like doing. It's like a meme thing, kind of, or whatever. Or he's like, this is a thing we say in the military, maybe.
Blessed is he who, in the name of camaraderie and duty, shepherd the lost through the valley of darkness.
It's got to be like a. It's got to be like a military thing or something. That'd be my guess, right?
For he is truly his brother's keeper, and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to capture and destroy my brother. And you will know my call sign is Sandy 1 when I lay my vengeance.
I think the most annoying thing, I've complained about this a lot, I'll complain it again, is when somebody is given a take on the internet and I'm just learning about a thing, and then I see all of you guys regurgitating the take that I know is floating around the internet that nobody has thought about. Like, first of all, even in Pulp Fiction, this is not a real Bible verse, okay? Ezekiel 25:17, there's like one sentence about, I think, God seeking vengeance or something, and I'll get vengeance, and that's it. In Pulp Fiction, it's not even a real... In Pulp Fiction, they don't even say it the same way every time, okay? Number one. But number two, it doesn't sound like he's replacing words and whatnot. So this sounds like a meme from the Air Force or Navy, like the pilot's prayer or something. Now, I don't know if it's real or not, or if they really say this in the military, but it sounds like that's what he's saying. He doesn't think there's a real Bible verse that says, you know, you'll know my call sign or whatever.
The selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of camaraderie and
in the name of camaraderie, these are all like military memes.
Duty, shepherd the lost through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper, and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to capture and destroy my brother. And you will know my...
Yeah, capture and destroy. So this makes sense. It's like a search and rescue meme or whatever. I just don't know if there's like, if people in search and rescue or whatever actually say this, if it's like a thing or if somebody just gave it to them or...
Call sign is Sandy 1 when I lay my vengeance upon them.
And you will know my name is the...
Tarantino wrote it. It's not military. I understand it comes from Pulp Fiction, but I'm saying maybe people in the military say it as like a meme / chant or something. I can't. I'm sorry. Don't ever give me news where everyone else on the internet is giving their take on it, because all of you motherfuckers are going to regurgitate it with zero thought, and I'm going to kill myself. Stop. Okay. These people are crazy. Wait, I already opened this. Never mind, you're right. Even if it's not commonly said in the military, it could be kind of a joke that he's making. It has to be a joke, right? Stop. He's obviously joking. Well, everyone else there has their heads down praying. The people in the audience are probably fucking retarded. What do you want me to say? They're MAGA.
So you think Pete Hegseth is a fucking comedian, huh?
Yeah.
My guess was he probably typed it into fucking Grok or some shit and was like, I'm looking for a Bible verse that's similar to blah, 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 blah. And then it came
No
up.
chance. Zero
But,
chance. He either wrote it himself because he thought it would be a cute meme, or it's something that somebody said once and Caesar, somebody gave it to him and said, adapt this for, I don't know. But there's no way he thought it was a real. What?
I was doing what you did.
Good.
Sorry? It's difficult?
I don't think they're from Palestine.
You're not from Palestine? I thought because you had the tattoo that you were from Palestine. So you're from Palestine. You speak Arabic? Sorry? You? Oh, right, you're Israeli. Ah, right. Right.
As much as Palestinians and Israelis hate each other, you want to trigger the fuck out of both of them? If you bring both these motherfuckers to the West, we won't be able to tell the difference between you guys. In the way you speak, in the way you act, in every fucking thing about you. You're the same to us. You're all Middle Easterners, okay? And you all need to blow each other up. In a video game!
Right. Fake state of Israel.
It doesn't exist. Israel doesn't exist.
So did you join the...
Part of the IDF, the IOF?
Jesus. The
Part of
IOF.
the IOF?
Oh my God.
What's the IOF?
They call it the
Or did you
Israeli,
just misspeak?
the Israeli Occupation Force. It's their way of being edgy. Yeah.
Were you part of it? Did you kill innocent civilians? Did you kill innocent women and children? Did you murder them? Did you murder them? I don't care.
Jesus.
I don't care. Did you kill innocent? Were you part of the IDF? Did you kill innocent civilians in Palestine? Did you? I don't care. You murderers. You're murderers.
You're monsters.
I didn't murder anyone.
Were you part of the IDF?
Well, everyone is part of
Yeah, so then you're a murderer. You're a murderer.
Yeah, you can refuse to be in the IDF. You can refuse it.
I want to eat my horrible people.
Well, we want to save humanity. We don't want to...
All of it. All of
Yeah.
humanity.
Yeah.
Shameful.
How can you eat vegan food, not supporting this murder of animals? No, you don't support the murder of animals. It does. I'm explaining myself to you. You don't support the murder of animals. I don't want you to talk. I'm stupid because I don't.
No, they need to shut up. Because they're murderers. They murder children. They murder children. They're part of the occupation. They're part of Israel. They're part of the occupation. You need to see out. Shameful. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're monsters. You're savage. You're savages. You're monsters. You're monsters. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you.
You're making me distressed.
Do you know about Tom Hunter? Do you know about Tom Hunter? The British journalist, 23-year-old? You shot him in the head. You killed him. You know about Rachel Corrie? Do you know about Rachel Corrie? You know about you bulldozed Rachel Corrie and killed a young lady from America? You're a shameful nation. You're shameful.
Murderers. Oh,
Shame.
now they're gonna cry. I didn't have my lunch in peace.
Oh dear, victim. Because we're just goyim, aren't we? We're just goyim. We're just worthless
Holy
animals.
shit.
I gotta get that for the
Shameful.
soundboard for Dan.
Viva, viva Iran.
Boom, boom, Tel Aviv. This is what you get.
For
This can't be real, right?
I think it is, man.
all your evil deeds. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, Tel Aviv.
No, I don't think no, this is not genuine. Because you heard her at the very beginning. She said Caesar 2517. It's not real. They're just like, this is a meme for the military.
I don't think so. They get up and walk away later. I mean,
So that one went right over Mr. Wooden's head. That's right.
I didn't understand what you're saying.
This is what you get for all your evil deeds. Yeah, it is ridiculous. Killing children is ridiculous. Killing children is ridiculous. Do you oppose genocide? Do you oppose it? Say you oppose it. Say you're against Netanyahu. Say you're against
Say
Netanyahu.
you're against
What about Ben
Palestine,
Gvir?
but stop.
Okay, we got the opinion, okay? Now can you shut the fuck up?
No, don't you dare tell us to shut the fuck up.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Don't you dare.
Ah.
You are ashamed. You are monsters. You're monsters. You're savages. You're monsters.
That needs to be done.
Yeah. Shameful.
That's it, now can you shut up?
No.
Yeah, go get lost.
Run away. Like the Palestinians run to try and live every day.
Well, now the Israelis are getting bombed.
I hope Israel falls.
Everywhere you go, you are going to be hated. Everywhere you go, you are hated. Nobody likes you. Nobody. Go on. Go away.
Kick them out of all the countries. Kick them out of all the countries.
110 countries you've been thrown out. 110 countries. Yeah, we feel good. Yeah.
You feel amazing?
By killing children?
Civilians?
Shameful.
Do you feel good? I'm
Yeah.
enjoying mine as well. Unfortunately, you guys are
Shameful.
everywhere.
Absolute disgrace. You're a disgrace.
Murderer.
Go on, look at them. Look at the rats running away. Go on.
Sorry.
Go on, rats.
Murderers.
Murderers, savages, monsters.
Genocidal.
Okay. Well,
It's peak irony that British people are doing that to others.
really? How is that peak?
Do you want to know how?
Tell me.
British people
Yeah.
are bad.
Okay. Oh, and this was in Vietnam. Holy shit. There were British tourists that were confronting these people in Vietnam. My God. Okay.
Would you meet with the Pope to even out your differences with Catholics or torn?
I don't think it's necessary.
Mr. President, would you meet, Mr. President?
Ask the ladies behind.
Oh, Jesus. This clip.
Is she staring right at him? Okay, here's the one thing I don't understand. Reckful was pretty well traveled, right? Like, he'd been around the place. He'd been to Japan and everything up to this point, no? Like, in any major city in the world, everybody, or like half the people, like, speak English.
Ask the ladies behind you if you can eat their ass.
Oh, my God.
Hello. They're British. Can you stop?
Oh, they understand?
They understand. Oh my God.
You guys are too loud. I have to leave.
Oh.
You're embarrassing me.
Wait, you're leaving? I'm not done drinking.
They speak English, right? Well, they're British.
I didn't know. Wait, don't leave. She's leaving.
And then Forsen fucking killed her.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, we haven't seen her since.
You guys need to be professional pilots.
Meow, 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 meow.
This is why you're still flying RJ.
Meow, meow, meow.
It was funny the first 5 minutes. It's a pretty big Ritalin dose you missed.
Did you see the Saikuno apology?
Yeah, I read it. It was boring.
On the Pope over the weekend. Any reaction to Donald Trump's comments on the Pope over the weekend?
I'd probably say the Pope needs to keep his business into leading his flock, so to speak, leading the church, and probably stay out of the political arena. He doesn't need to be getting involved in the political arena. Go lead your church, but stay out of the...
Religion is only to be weaponized when it helps us, but not when it's used to hurt us, right?
Politics, right? We didn't elect the Pope to be the president or be the anything else. So just keep his nose in the church's business and stay out of the political arena.
Well, what if he sees his role as sort of leading his flock away?
No,
from
lead
war?
his flock. Well, let's focus on just behavior, doing everything else. Just focus on your flock. And Donald Trump is our president. It's not the Pope. I didn't elect the Pope to be president.
Got it. Thank you, Congressman. Any reaction to?
The fuck? The company in charge of the NL Super Cruise actively facilitates and advertises travel to the Israeli-occupied territories in Palestine and Syria. The yellow highlighted areas are considered partially occupied. The orange areas are under full Israeli military. Uh-oh. Wait, what is this NL Super Cruise thing?
It's Northern Lion was going to do a cruise. He announced it yesterday. Today he has canceled it.
Wait.
Yes.
Was it for like fans and everything, or just streamers that were supposed to go, or what was
It's for fans.
Okay.
It's fans, streamers. You'd buy a room. It was like $2,000 a fucking room or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, he canceled it.
Why did he cancel it?
I don't think he said.
He just
said, yeah, it's canceled.
Fuck every single person. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Let me check.
Hold on.
Okay. I actually don't see any crazy horrible statements from him. All these people that were finger waving about fucking Cheney. Who did I see? I saw another it was a progressive person yesterday who was like, if Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to support us, we should accept her. And I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, was it Ilhan Omar? Maybe Ilhan Omar hasn't said anything bad about Liz Cheney, then I should check. All these people that were like, can you believe that Kamala campaigned with Cheney? And now it's like, well, maybe we should accept Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's like, what?
I've had a personal interaction with Marjorie Taylor Greene. When I was 18 after the shooting at my high school, when I was lobbying members of Congress, my fellow activists in March for Our Lives, Marjorie Taylor Greene, before she was a member, started chasing me around saying that the shooting at my high school didn't happen, that I was a crisis actor, that I was paid by the government to do all these just horrible things that are completely false. And at the same time, what those conversations that they're talking about remind me of is my own evolution as an activist. In terms of when I was in college, I didn't go to college to just be surrounded by a bunch of liberals necessarily. I know that's hard for you guys to believe, but it's true. That's why I joined the shooting club when I was in college. And as you can imagine, Scott, I was not very popular there. But it's important to talk to people who disagree with us, because ultimately, even though we're Democrats and Republicans, we have to find what little overlap there is that we can move forward on. And look, we can speculate all we want on her intentions and why she's doing this ultimately. But from my perspective, I'm willing to take that first step and have that conversation with her. And I would challenge her to this too. If she wants to come on your show and talk to me directly about why she's changed her mind, I'm happy to do that and have that conversation. And I would challenge her to do that and prove to us why she actually is authentic and changing, and that this is not just another opportunistic political opportunity like it was when she chased me after the shooting at my high school. But I'm willing to give her a small chance to have that conversation. But it's important to note too, this is not just a Marjorie Taylor Greene phenomenon. Yeah. We're seeing Tucker Carlson. We're seeing people across the board defect increasingly from Trump.
Okay. What do all those people have in? What do all those people have in common, by the way?
Trump.
What is it they all have in common?
Ago and now he doesn't.
When I hear Ilhan Omar, you know what I hear? How do you do, fellow anti-Semites? That's what I hear.
Yeah,
this is about Israel.
This is
about.
fast.
There is a thread here, and it's so transparently obvious. And I'll be honest. I think what she did to you is abhorrent. She was a clown then. She's a clown now. This entire thing for her is political. Trump didn't want to back her in a statewide race in Georgia. and she's a conspiracy theorist then, and she's a conspiracy theorist now. And I would caution you. I would caution you.
I don't think Joe Rogan is. I don't think Joe Rogan's an anti-Semite. I don't think Andrew Schultz is an anti-Semite. I don't think Eric Erickson is an anti-Semite.
No.
I think there's a lot of people around the country whose names we don't know.
We're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker
You're
Carlson.
bringing other people.
But
You're
just
saying,
one second.
what do all of them have in common?
Even if you say that the only thing that is important about those three individuals in particular is that they're anti-Semitic, what does it say about the president that he was totally fine with them 6 months ago? Well, and they were totally fine.
Oh, this guy just shows up to get gangbanged constantly by these people.
And with him, what does it say?
Look, he attracted a lot of people. And some of the people that he attracted, like, that have those views, I completely and totally disagree with. And he has been quite clear about his views on these issues. And he has led the party away from those views. And that's frankly one of the reasons they're not in it anymore.
Really?
I've had
How many people do you think are going to make you in Tomodachi life? So literally yesterday, I wouldn't say I was having a crisis yesterday. I would say I was doing okay yesterday. But the top stream on my following list was called, like, talking about the Northern Lion cruise. And then the second stream on my following list was, like, Chibli playing Tomodachi Life. And I clicked on it, and it was me in Tomodachi Life. And then I watched, I said, let's see what Alex is doing. And I clicked on Alex's stream, and it was me in Tomodachi Life. And I was like, it was a being John Malkovich moment. Malkovich. It was like, and then I typed everywhere I go, there I am. And Chibli went, yeah, that's damn true. But I don't think he really got what I was talking on a different level. I wasn't just trying to be like pithy. I was like, oh my God, everywhere I go, there I literally am. But anyway, let's talk about the Super Cruise and what's everyone's take on it. We actually are going to do that. Today we have two announcements. The first announcement is related to the Super Cruise. So the long and the short of it. Let's start with the short. Last night I made the decision to scuttle the Northern Lion Super Cruise.
No.
So if you have already booked, I apologize. You will receive a full refund. They're already starting to be processed. They will arrive in 3 to 5 business days.
It got canceled in one day?
As much as this may sound facetious, I have to say thank you for sharing your concerns. Because some of those concerns were things that probably we could have seen in advance and maybe done something about. But some of those concerns were things that were unforeseen. And even though it was uncomfortable to read some of them, I appreciated getting a broad view of how people felt about it. I think that prior to the announcement, if I'm being honest, most of my nerves were like, how can we make this a fun event? You know, how can we make this something that'll be memorable for the people that go on it? What kind of entertainment can we provide? And then people started saying, like, how can we guarantee everyone's safety? Not just the safety of the streamers, which has been talked a lot about, like to make sure that none of us get harmed on the ship, but also like the people that were going to go on the ship. Started to think about like, how can we make sure everyone's safe, and like what happens if someone gets hurt or gets sick or something like that, God forbid. So that combined with some of the other concerns, it got to the point where it just didn't.
It's a cruise. I'm sure that security is a thing that they've kind of solved by this point. No, are people dying on cruises all the time to terrorist attacks? Or, sheesh.
He got bullied from his audience for it.
For the Palestine.
It was basically
thing?
like they were a part of like I think they're a part of like a Royal Caribbean cruise, and like the price was like 4x or 3x, and his whole community like freaked out.
We only wanted to do it if it felt like everyone was comfortable, and I was getting more and more uncomfortable with the idea, essentially. And this is definitely not a situation where I'm like, hey, we're going to do like an awesome thing. Oh, this is going to be so much fun, but you guys like, okay, fine, we'll never do anything. You bullied me into canceling this really cool project. It's like when we were excited for the launch, and it was perhaps a bit of a miscalculation. And then in seeing what everybody's concerns are, we went, you know what? Maybe this is the sort of thing that's just not the right thing for us to do. I apologize to the people that booked, because you put a lot of faith in us, you put a lot of trust in us, and I appreciate that vote of confidence. Your rebates are being processed as we speak. Secondly, I'm thinking about what to do with the events that we had already planned, and I think I sort of had like a third eye opening, and I said to myself, why don't I just do them anyway, but stream them for free for everyone to watch? Which is something that probably, to be honest, I could have just done to begin with. That seems like a more appropriate avenue for that. So I definitely, like, this is not a situation where I was like, people are being mean, so I'm going to take my ball and go home. I was like, you know what? There was enough concerns raised that I was like, I'm getting uncomfortable with this. And especially, like, not to, like, farm sympathy, but I was like, I really don't want to feel uncomfortable about this for the next 10 months. You killed 11 months of shit posting? I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true, because you can still make fun of me for it. And now I can actually laugh at it, instead of pretending that it's funny, but actually being like, I want to cry because you're hurting my feelings. Now we can laugh together. The bit is better now. I appreciate you saying that. Also, can I say something? I love everybody involved with this cruise. I love my wife. I love Dan. But I have to give special shout out to Squeaks. Squeaks is literally... he's a puppy dog. For the rest, well, I shouldn't say that because you never know what'll happen. But for now, he is an angel in my eyes. He is a heavenly creature that is full of divinity. Because the entire time, we invited him to this, and he said, sounds great. And then it was a little controversial. And he said, I think it'll still be fun. Let's do it. And then I was like, I'm not sure if we should do this. And he went, I have 100% faith and trust in you to do the right.
Wait, so is there a post about people complaining about this? I want to see what are people actually mad about?
Thing. I went, this is the most pure man on the planet. I don't want to give him a hug. I want him to give me a hug. And also, it really fucked us up. I shouldn't make a joke out of this, but this is my natural instinct. It fucked us up when they closed the strait. Everything was fine. Everything was completely okay until they because it was open. Like a week ago, it was open, and we were like, okay, we can finally announce the timing is right. And then they closed it again, and we went, well, what are we going to do? Because I think it costs like a lot more fuel to go around, like the Cape of Good Hope or whatever. It didn't even make it a week. Well, the thing is, we didn't want to, like, because people are like making travel plans. I think it's like, you know, you want to make sure that you handle it as soon as possible. You don't want to leave it until like there's 6 weeks before it, and then people are like, I'm already like in Florida. What about the shirts? You could still have your I got pregnant on the Northern Lion Super Cruise shirt. That's fine. Pregnant Gamers, thanks for the gifted subscriptions. Thank you.
Was his general concern trolling posting on his sub? It wasn't one big post.
Make a shirt. I mean, I literally can't stop you from making the shirt to begin with. But I wouldn't go so far as to say you have my blessing to make the shirt. What I would say is, if I saw you with that shirt in public, I would say that is an awesome shirt. I love it. If I saw you wearing a shirt that said, I got pregnant on the Northern Lion Cruise, I would say, this is fantastic. That's very funny. Please don't make one that says, I got norovirus. Thank you for the ample notice. I almost ironed my green Triforce tee and starched my brown cargo shorts. Not to just pivot off of like the uncomfortable conversation to go with the bit. I have no idea what starching means. I know it makes your clothes crispier, but I don't know actually how you do it. Thank you for canceling. I was genuinely extremely annoyed and appreciate your willingness to listen to the backlash. W Yeti. Also, can I say W? Listen, I'm genuinely like not on social media, which I think was like the right move this week, but obviously I understand what people were saying. But I do want to say the optics on this for me are like, I'm not like, fuck you, why are people so mean to me? Like, I saw how easily a streamer could get sucked down the yes man rabbit hole of like,
Jesus. No, I need to hear how the stock market is doing each morning and then watch him play the worst sponsored games of all time. Please don't cancel him. At least let us rate his wife's stream and inflate her daily viewership so she can charge more for sponsors. Oh my God. People hate him.
Yeah, all the ML types in his community were like saying he like sold out basically.
Jeez.
What is an ML type?
Marxist-Leninist. The crazy commies. That's what Asana is.
Well, I'm just not going to listen to the people who make me have bad feelings and only listen to the people that have good feelings and then like see how that can accelerate. But instead, I was like, these people are bringing up some genuine concerns without a doubt. And I appreciate, because some of them I honestly had no
Is he going to say what those are, or is he like intentionally just not touching it?
idea about. So I tried to stay mature about it, and I appreciate that some people stayed level-headed about it as well. What were some of the concerns? I didn't really want like 100 people to get sick on the cruise. or like for two people to get in a fist fight on the cruise.
That can't possibly be it. Like we were going to do an event, but then we realized that diseases still exist.
And like like injure each other or something, or for someone to fall off of the ship or something like that. That's it. Well, I'm saying that's a facet of it. And can I also say, you have to realize that you're saying, well, that happens now and then. The way I'm looking at it is news headline, guy's head cracked open on streamer cruise. And then it's my face when I had like the dental work done, and I'm giving that fuck ass smile like right into the camera. And then everyone's like, fuck this guy. Last known photograph. By the way, it is really funny to be doing this with the solo show announcement overlay here. Also, you're famously afraid of getting killed by a mob. Yeah, I mean, there is that. But honestly, there was a part of me that was like, if I die on the boat, I know what I signed up for. But I don't think I could deal with the guilt of like someone else dying on the boat, and they just thought they were going to have like a nice vacation or something like that. Like, I think that in a weird way, that might be the only way that I would accept being killed by a mob is like, well, I invited the mob. What did I expect? You got me. But if someone else, like if someone had just gone on like their honeymoon on the cruise and died, I would have been like, well, this is fucked up, man. Triangle of Sadness scenario would have been lit. I mean, I feel like a little bit of life is returning to me now that like this is off my chest, to be honest. And I'm like, it would have been a movie if somehow we were forced to shelter in place on that ship for like 6 months, man. Please do that instead. I'm not even joking. At least one of you would have met your spouse. I think, and honestly, possibly like more than one couple would have broken up as a result of actions taken on the cruise, if I had to guess. But at least one of you would have actually met the love of your life that you would be happy with for the rest of your life, for sure. So like on balance, it might have destroyed more relationships than it would have created, but some of you would have found eternal happiness on the ship, for sure. But like, if you want to, I was going through it, man. You want to know how much I was going through it? I had a Coke Zero last night. That gets pretty crazy for a guy like me. I put my 9-month Coke Zero sobriety coin on the table and said, yeah, I'll take a large, please. Wouldn't it be funny if I went to the full screen and I was just surrounded by Coke Zero right now? I'm sorry, I can't fulfill that. Anyway, okay, so that's phase one. I'll recap it one last time. The Northern Line Super Cruise is canceled. It was my decision. Those of you who have booked, you put your trust and your faith in me. I appreciate it for life. You will receive a full refund. They're already being processed. I promise this is not a flex. It's just going to take a while for the refunds to get out there because they got to process them. So early next week, I would expect those refunds to start arriving. Now it's time for the second stream, or the second announcement, I should say, which requires me to go back to the overlay, kind of awkwardly.
Somebody from his subreddit, this is a 1.1 thousand upvotes. This whole discourse around the cruise has been unbelievably toxic from the start. Like, I get the part that organizing something like this feels a bit off-brand, but are we seriously trying to shift the conversation to NL supports Israeli occupation? Dan's mom just wanted to help Dan organize a cruise. He in turn asked NL, and NL agreed because he likes cruises. Obviously, he wasn't going to go tell your Zionist mom to fuck off, because anybody should know that would have been even more off-brand. He's too normal-pilled for this. Jesus.
Yeah, people also saw it as like a betrayal of like, because apparently he always like makes fun of parasocial people, and he doesn't really do like meetups. And so like this was like, oh, he's like betraying what he says.
The same company, oh, I'm seeing this on Twitter. Same company runs pilgrimage trips to Israel, by the way. Oh my God, bro, kill me. Ugh. Are you team incel or team woman? What is this? "67% of Gen Z would choose a good night's rest over having sex."
6-7.
What is he even sourcing here? What? Okay. Good meme.
These victims.
Do you think it's appropriate for King George to meet with members when they come up here as they pursue the Epstein investigation because of his brother?
I wouldn't meet with him, so I don't
Why
know.
not?
I have 1776. I have nothing to do with King George or the royal family. I am American first, and I have no need to meet with him.
Will you attend the speech?
I probably not. I don't know.
Because
I mean, maybe I'll show up. I don't know. you guys are in there. Sometimes we get great photos. So have a great day.
Thank you. Was that Boebert? Is that Boebert?
Yeah.
What are they even talking about? I don't even know who the current king is. Or who?
King Charles.
Okay, that sounds right. What did they say?
Off.
Is it a different king of another country?
Off these victims.
Do you think it's appropriate for King George to meet with members when they come up here as they pursue the Epstein investigation because of his brother?
I wouldn't meet with him. So
That sounds like it's supposed to be about Charles and Andrew, no? Oh no. George and Charles? I don't know. I don't know and I don't care. I'm going to say something objective and misogynistic or whatever. It'll be a sad day if Boebert sells out to the Mar-a-Lago look, okay? Because, God damn! That's it for today. Okay. That's my one objectifying comment of the month.
Rule 5.
Shut up!
Our country is under a hostile occupation.
Israeli occupation of the United States government.
Israel controls our government.
Israel controls our government.
Control and influence and manipulate our system.
Ruled and controlled and manipulated by the nation state of Israel.
They are vampires. They suck our blood.
They suck the life out of this country.
We cannot be slaves to Israel.
I'm not a slave to Israel.
Iran does not have a nuclear weapon.
Iran did not have a nuclear arsenal.
The supreme leader of Iran promulgated a fatwa.
He had to put out a fatwa against nuclear weapons.
We had to join Israel's war of choice.
A war of choice. That's what this is.
The real threat to America is from Israel.
Our alliance with Israel as an existential threat to the United States.
They will nuke the entire world.
Israel is the biggest threat to world peace.
Let us never forget who the real enemy is.
The enemy is Israel.
We need to decouple from this country.
We need to decouple. Decouple. Let's separate.
We need to free America from this sick, perverse, parasitic organism that has attached itself to us. Foreign nationals leeching off of public services.
The pariah state that has leached off the American people.
It's not just Netanyahu. On some level, it is the Israeli people.
The behavior of the Israeli government and, quite honestly, the vast majority of the Israeli population.
They dehumanize us. They don't see us.
I don't see Palestinians as human.
I'm an awakened goy.
Bro, come on. Oh no.
Jewish people think they're better than everybody.
And you think you're better than everyone else.
You know, the Jews do this.
Yes.
Go the fuck back to Israel.
Go back to Israel.
Greater Israel.
The Greater Israel Project.
The famous dancing Israelis.
The whole dancing Israelis thing.
The genocidal state.
A genocidal, disgusting state.
Why would I give a fuck about Israel?
I don't give a damn about Israel. I don't give a damn.
And I don't fucking trust them.
I don't trust the Israelis.
Your right to exist is not real.
I don't believe Israel has the right to exist.
Don't be moralized by wicked, evil people.
People as evil as this exist in this world.
God's chosen people rejected their own Messiah.
Do you think you're God's chosen people when you act like absolute demons?
Now that's what I call a cool story, bro.
I think your sub agrees with like 90% of that video.
Based. Brilliance. Why though?
Salam alaikum, everyone. I'm Rami Youssef.
Oh, it almost Elmo. Mr. Rami, what does salam alaikum mean?
Well, salam means peace, and it's a way to say hello in Arabic.
Oh, cool. Oh, salam alaikum, everybody.
Elmo and I are here to wish all of you a happy Arab American Heritage Month.
Yeah, happy Arab American Heritage Month.
I'm so proud of my Arab heritage, and I'm so happy to share this month with my fellow Arabs and Elmo. So, thanks, Habibi.
Oh, wait a minute. What's Habibi?
Oh, it's an Arabic word for a special friend.
Really? Well, happy Arab American Heritage Month, Habibi. We love you.
Salam alaikum.
How many months and days do we have for stuff in the U.S.? I feel like we got a lot of these. What do you mean by that?
Just happy, man.
What did you guys go over today? How come we don't have a White Heritage Month, Mootin? That's what I want to know. Let's get the real shit out there.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We're going to Fox News, huh?
I'm just saying. Everywhere I go, it's hate whites this and hate whites that. Why are you smashing it? Is 17 a prime number? Of course, it must be, right?
Yes or no is that thing I just linked to you? Good
Yes or
policy?
no? Yes or no? Yes or no? I know you're not going over some shit we went over yesterday.
Oh, shit.
Oh, so you just didn't watch the stream.
Really?
You didn't watch the stream yesterday. What were you doing yesterday that was so fucking important with your time?
I probably fell asleep.
You say Dear Leader's boring then? He put you to sleep?
Really? I think it's fine. I think, I don't really like the idea of people owning property that that they don't really live in.
They're not using?
Yeah, it feels stupid. It's like such a limited resource. Yeah, I think that people are. I don't give a fuck. I don't care to argue any policy anymore. I think people get it wrong when they say that people buy stuff like that because they see it as an investment and it'll always increase in value. I don't think that's true. I think that owning property and not renting it out, you're almost always losing money there versus just investing in the stock market. I just think that when you're really wealthy, you can just afford to have multiple places that you stay in when it's convenient. I think it's more that than anything else. But regardless of why you think they're doing it, I think that limiting people doing that, I think is fine because it's put downward pressure on rents. If people aren't going to live full time in your city anyway, like who the fuck cares if they don't own anything there? Like, kick them out. Legal mindset is insane. He's trying to interfere in the Johnny Somali case. Is 42 a prime number? Yes or no? Wait, is 2 a prime number? Any even number, obviously, is not a prime number. Does 2 count as a prime number? 2 is yes. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
I sure can.
What about 1 though? What about 0?
And how's it going? How come now you have like a perfect like Fabio camera angle, but on Live and Learn you only gave us the
holy shit. Dylan's growing that hair out.
Top down. I get the whole romantic novel cover of Dylan.
That's because I love you.
1000% taxes on buildings people don't use are fine. Like, bro, use your shit. Yeah, I just having idle land. Kill them. Ban them. Where's ban all the Georges? Don't let them in here. But like, I don't talk about land value tax because I just think it's a pipe dream. But like, yeah, having idle land, it's just right. It drives me insane. Basically, any tax, no matter how fucking retarded it is, I don't care if the person is racist and wants to kick out idle black people, or if the person's a populist leftist and wants to kick out billionaires or whatever the fuck. Like, if you have idle land, I just fuck you. Like, tax the fuck out of them until they go bankrupt, and then kick them the fuck out, and then let somebody use it. That just drives me. It drives me insane. It hurts. It hurts.
So you're a Georgist.
Oh, so you don't... Oh, really? Really?
I don't know what that is.
Me neither. They're just annoying as fuck. And they talk about being Georgists all the time. They believe in land value taxes.
Oh, did you see we got a peace treaty right now?
Oh, with who? With Greenland finally?
No, Lebanon and Israel.
Whoa! Okay.
But apparently the Israelis are mad because Donald Trump just said that, and they didn't really have time to agree to it.
Technically, this is exemplified in this concept. Adverse possession. True. Adverse possession in common law and the related civil law concept of usurpation are legal mechanisms under which a person does not have legal title to a piece of property, usually real property, may acquire legal ownership based on continuous possession or occupation without the permission of its legal owner. Okay.
You have to be there for like 10 years for that, and then you have to pay taxes on it as well.
Wow.
So you get a squat. I watched a cop video on that.
Did you see the Psycho No response? Yeah, boring.
View.
He's still with her though.
Based. Queen. King.
Aw, thanks, man. Let me turn you up a little bit. All right, what did you want to chat about? Was it PV stuff? And just
Am I getting trolled right now? Why is he using the wrong microphone? He must be, right?
Why, full transparency, Ben of PV is in chat.
Perfect. Perfect. That's great. I'd love.
The reason why you don't see Gisticle and all of those people like camping my fucking Twitter mentions and everything now is because now they've moved on to an advanced form of gaslighting where they just message every single person around me and they have them in a very subtle way fuck with their microphone settings and everything. And now every time somebody comes on, they've got some fuck shit going on with their microphones.
Well, he should hear this.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about a few things because I don't get to talk domestic news very much in the United States, but this I think is important enough that this is the main thing I want to focus on, right? And I will be honest, I wanted to use yesterday to announce a project that I'm working on.
Ah, shit, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's, you know, it's all Pisco's fault. So it's not your fault. We'll all blame Pisco, of course.
Whoever left, I'm fucking glad they're gone. Who left?
Me too.
Oh, good.
I saw the PV event. I did the PV event, and I was very energetic to participate with PV. And I'm going to be very blunt in this conversation. You don't need to join me in my bluntness, but I'm going to. My previous interactions with PV have not always been stellar. I'm not the only content creator that has not had stellar interactions with PV. I don't think it's necessary to bring up those interactions, but despite those interactions, and I'm saying this to give credit to PV, not to go after PV, despite those interactions, I still want to work with them. Out of all the creators that have been working with PV, I've probably been working with PV maybe the longest of anybody who's still participating in these events. I mean, I don't think IRI does these events anymore. I don't think a lot of creators, for any number of reasons, have decided I'm not going to for X, Y, or Z. It might be what happened with people's addresses. It might be X, Y, Z. Again, we don't need to go into it. But I still wanted to do that event, both for the platform and for the cause that I think the Democratic Party has to come up with an authentic message that will connect to working people. It's still the most unpopular party in the United States, and that's with Donald Trump in office, which is embarrassing. So that means that obviously the current path we were going on.
My perspective on this, I wish I could find more big media guys. Tim kind of sort of a little bit, maybe that Jeremiah guy. I want people to give me pushback on this. I want to test the idea more, but like my personal opinion is that Democrats don't have I need to stop using this word. Somebody email me. I realize I don't think anybody understands what I mean when I say this. If I say like positive rights versus negative rights, or if I say like positive versus negative in like some philosophy or psychology sense, does that mean anything to you? What do you, when I say like, when I say Democrats don't have a positive position?
Yeah, they don't have a position that like they're pushing for, like a good position that like we're rallying behind, kind of?
Kind of, yeah. Not necessarily good position, but just to have something. It's like the positive is like the presence of something. Like in like I know you did psychology for a bit in school. Like a lot of people get like negative reinforcement wrong, technically from the oh my God, is this operant conditioning? I don't remember. But like a negative, every form of reinforcement is to encourage a behavior. Positive is when you introduce something. Negative is when you remove something. So positive reinforcement, every time you do something good, I pat your head. Negative reinforcement is every time you do something good, I take away something bad. So a way to negatively reinforce positive behavior might be that if you do something, I say, oh, you don't have to empty the trash tonight. You don't have to do some chore, right? That would be negative reinforcement, right? And then hitting somebody, what people call like, oh, that was a negative reinforcement, is usually It's actually positive punishment, right? And then same thing with like rights or freedoms or whatever. Like positive is you're providing something to somebody. A positive right would be like you have a right to an attorney. A negative right would be you have the you can't be, the government can't infringe on you in some way or whatever. Right? But the Democratic Party doesn't have like strong positions that they put forth and occupy. All they're ever kind of doing, because of the way the media cycle works, is they're responding to the Republicans. So the best thing that Democrats are able to do is make you hate Republicans, but they don't make you like Democrats. That's it. I don't think that he had as fleshed out a model of this as I do in my head, but Steve Bannon actually spoke about this when he was talking to, it was in Mother Jones, when he was talking to these, I think it was the Chinese media people, but he spoke about it. He said he would talk about driving down negatives is how you win campaigns now. I think he talks about this more. We break down states, which is a way we do it in each state. So Arizona has more control of its future, right, than just having a popular vote. You can win with 45 or 46% of the popular vote, but Trump's approvals have never been higher than like 42 or 43% ever. It's within that bandwidth. Even in 2016, people just had to make a decision. They didn't like Trump, but they hated Clinton more. Why? When I came in, I'm the expert at driving negatives up, right? I had been on 10 years on that bitch. I just beat her every day, right? Yeah, emails, yeah, but also her corruption. I went back to the Clinton scandals and the Clinton thing. We just hammered her every day. She's corrupt. And by the way, that ad just fucked my place up. And by the way, because Trump's, he's not a mean guy. He's actually got a big heart. He's kind of soft. That's why he doesn't go after Xi. I don't have that problem. Now in 2016, that's why I got brought in. I didn't really know Trump. They brought me in with only 90 days to go. He's down by 16 points. It was just to take her, drive her negatives up, and her likability down. But yeah, he talks about this a bit here. But I think the big issue with the Democrats is when you're fighting constantly against an overwhelming media cycle, the most you can do is make people not like the other side. But you can't really make people like you.
Make people
they
like
just see,
you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you can still win an election that way.
Yeah.
So like a positive position that we're putting forward right now would be like Mr. Beats uncap the House, correct?
Kind of, but that's like a.
But no one, yeah, I mean,
no one cares.
dream.
It probably wouldn't pass. It's not popular at all. I agree with the position. I think it would be a good thing. I think a lot of people don't know this, but you know how the Senate is like kind of unfair for population, right? Well, super unfair for population. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the House
point, though.
also is not fairly like the House also favors. Nowhere near to the extent of the Senate, but it still favors smaller states, just because you only have a limited number of people to dole out your representatives to. So so it's
like a person from Wisconsin, their representative technically is a lot more than a person from California.
I don't know about a lot more, but a bit more. Yeah. So it's they have advantages like everywhere institutionally. They have advantages in the Senate, in the Electoral College, and in the House. So that's a huge advantage in the legislative body in the top part, a little bit of an advantage in the bottom part, and then a big advantage in electing the executive. And that's 2/3 of our branches. And then the third branch of government is appointed by the executive and confirmed by the legislative. So it's like, the fuck? What? Conservatives have institutional advantages everywhere.
Should the House not follow like a census? Like every, I don't know, it's like what, every 10 years a census is done or whatever? Should a House seat not follow that of like, okay, there's 3 billion people in America, for example, 1 billion are in California, a third of the people should be in the House for that. People are saying it does, but it doesn't.
It does.
Hasn't, like,
it's just not like it's not perfect, I guess.
It's because it's capped.
Yeah, so they have to like make adjustments or whatever.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I feel like their positive position that they used to put forward was healthcare, and then once the Affordable Care Act was passed, I'm trying to think of like what have they been fighting on besides like gun shit.
Democrats?
Yeah.
I don't know. Gun stuff is the biggest one, but it's also such a loser position. Ugh.
Bernie was fighting for student loans for a while.
Which is also, no, not to be mean, is a loser position because it's for young people. It's for the wealthiest of America. Like,
yeah. Abortion, that will probably be the next big fight that will get ratified, I think. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to fight over. They just need to work together and pick an issue. Yeah.
1 second.
On, it isn't working. But that event, for some reason, something about it, not the fact that I was invited on, not even how the event even went, but that event angered me somewhere in my soul deeply.
In my mind, it's everybody positioning themselves as anti-war was very annoying to me when they were just anti-war in Israel. That was just like, ugh. Do you know anything about the National Popular Vote, Interstate Compact? Yeah, I think it's fine.
And it wasn't that the people involved, like, oh, I had beefs with X, Y, and Z. I don't care with that. I will work with Hassan. I will pick him up and go up a fucking mountain if it means getting rid of Donald Trump or getting universal health care or fighting for the rights of people who are getting torn to shreds by bombs right now, right? Because that's why we're engaged in politics. This is
Chat or Destiny. Is it considered poor etiquette for me to address Mr. Mooten or Dan Can't Stream on Destiny's chat when they're on the stream? Or is it cool to do? I feel like Moot and Dan never reply to Destiny's Kick or YouTube chat. True. But if you address them, I'll see the message.
I don't have all of the chats open, sorry, but I can...
I
can do that. That's my fault.
It's not fucking school. This is not a club. We're engaged in politics because we want to improve the lives of people.
How is gun shit a loser position? Most Americans agree with some form of control because people get lost in the weeds on what that means. It's like Brexit. Like, gun control is a hugely broad term that is so all-encompassing of so many different things. I think you have majority support for some form of red flag laws. Even Pam Bondi, I remember watching her talk to Trump. I don't know in what context. She might have been when she was the Florida Attorney General, was talking about red flag laws, and even Trump was like, "Oh, this sounds great." But and I think some kind of extended background check thing. I think I would have to look more. But Democrats are obsessed with AR-15s. They are obsessed with rifles when these contribute like 300 to 500 deaths a year in the United States versus handguns, which are like 60,000. It's a loser policy position in that it wouldn't really materially improve our lives. And it's such a fraught battleground that you lose votes on. And it's like, which is fucking, who cares? God, let people shoot themselves with rifles if they want. You know, it's just not a big deal.
Why are they obsessed with this? Is it just a legacy fucking like feeling of like, oh,
because the types of shootings that happen with rifles are like the ones that stand out in our minds the most, like the school shootings and everything, or like the mass shootings are the ones that stand out the most. And because they're scared of them and they look scary, like that's it. You know?
But I thought most mass shootings were done by handguns at this point. Is that not?
Depends on how you define mass shooting. But like the scariest one, yeah. But nobody really uses mass shooting that way in common parlance, right? Like
I mean, when people talk about a mass shooting, yeah.
Yeah, like under the current FBI definition, I think it's 4 people injured, or 4 people shot at. Yeah, I think it's injured in a shooting event. But like any gang exchange back and forth can be considered like a mass shooting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with the definition of school shooting, which was stupid too, because they defined school shooting as any shooting within like 100 yards of like school shooting or school property. So like if it's like 9 p.m. and there's people who are outside of school and they get into a gunfight or whatever, it's like, oh, that was a school shooting. Because somebody used this. I remember at one point there were 400 school shootings last year or whatever. And it's like, what? Really though? Like, I don't know.
And you're going through it and it's like, oh, there was a lockdown. Like there was somebody shot outside near the building, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I think that's a little bit more valid, I think even. But it's the just God, fuck me.
Bull. To see a candidate being fundraised for in a progressive space who doesn't want to dedicate himself to supporting Ukraine angered me deeply. The fact that I was being asked to go fundraise as the Ukraine guy for a guy.
Was there actually an anti-Ukraine person there, or just somebody who was indifferent to it?
Who doesn't support Ukraine. Somebody can say, I support Ukraine, I will do a drum circle for Ukraine, but if you don't want to give them what's necessary to protect their hospitals, to protect their nursing homes, to protect their civilians, you don't fucking support Ukraine. You support a drum circle. You support...
Also, can you name names? Which candidate was this? Because I had similar gripes where like some of these candidates... like
he's using his headphones or his webcam mic. Does he know this? You're trolling me! Soy Bill, you are trolling me! 1 second. Why are you trolling me?
Hartzell Gray. Hartzell Gray. It was his name. I can send you the specific stuff, but after conversations,
wait, can somebody link his platform, whatever?
It was clear that I was told directly after private conversations that he supports Ukraine but doesn't want to do anything.
And I later found out like Oliver Larkin is sort of like not pro defending Taiwan from an American standpoint. And I was like, I'm not like, why are you on the anti-war panel then? I mean, like this seems a little, antithetical. It seems a little incongruent. And I was frustrated with the fact that like the donation link was not for individual candidates. It was, hey, here's all the money going to all of them. And it's like, well, I agree with some of them and I don't agree with some.
I wonder what that even means. Did they distribute it evenly amongst them? Join our campaign. Issues. Divesting from the war machine. We spend billions each year on endless war and weapons, while schools go underfunded and hospitals close. I'll fight for a foreign policy rooted in diplomacy, accountability, and peace, not regime change or blank checks for authoritarian governments. Uh-oh. Oh, we got a call out to Palestine. We must end apartheid, the genocide, and the occupation of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. Huzzah! Huzzah!
He wants reparations.
I will fight tirelessly to dismantle the U.S. military-industrial complex and end endless wars, from Palestine to Yemen, from the Democratic Republic of Congo to Sudan, from Cuba to my own backyard in Missouri's 4th. No parent or child should live in fear of bomb, sanctions, or starvation. Jeez. Poor Ukraine. God damn. They're just hung out there to dry. Well.
Of them, and I don't want some of these candidates to get my audience's money. And so I specifically say like, hey, if some of these guys resonate with you, like go to these individual candidates place. But yeah, Ben, I guess you're listening. Like that would be my biggest gripe. It's like, if you have this level of like inconsistency with being anti-war on this panel and you're asking us to donate to all of them, I'd say that's not really coherent with the mission of being anti-war. I think you got to find a little more consistency in the candidates, even if they are all progressive.
Mind you, Oliver and Hartzell were like the two main candidates. They were like the candidates that were like coming on and it was being talked about. Oliver, I gave more credit because he had a section on Ukraine, even if the language was like asterisks here, asterisks there, asterisks everywhere. Like he still like took the time to have like a position on the largest and most violent war ongoing for going on 5 years now, right?
Yeah.
Now the other candidate.
Just curious, what do you try to answer seriously? Fuck. Never mind. Or what do you think is the current death toll in Gaza?
In Gaza? Mm-hmm. Of everybody being killed?
Yeah, of just Palestinians.
Oh, of just Palestinians? I would guess, it's a guess. I'd say around, I don't know, like 8,000?
Just kidding. Delete the VOD. It's 70,000. But
oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a lot more. I think it's 70,000. I think it's 60, 70,000. Okay. Listen, they don't cover Israel Palestine much on the morning show. Okay. I feel like that number gets talked about a lot in the media for people that talk about Israel Palestine. Right now I have absolutely no fucking idea how many people have died so far in the Ukrainian Russian war. I have no clue.
In Ukraine, I thought it was like a million or something at this point. Like I thought like tons of people are fucking.
I don't think it's quite a million. That would be a huge number, but I think it might be north of. I'm pretty sure it's north of 100 or 200,000. People are saying 1 million plus.
The war in Ukraine has resulted in 15,000 documented civilian deaths and over 100 to 140,000 Ukrainian military fatalities. Total casualties are significantly higher, with estimates suggesting nearly 2 million total military casualties on both sides.
Casualties includes like injured as well.
Injuries, probably, yeah. Killed or wounded, yeah.
Do you think Democrats should be more confident and straightforward, like saying we are better people, rather than saying, are better people rather than they are bad people statements? So the thing that I've said that I've tried to harp on over and over and over again, this is my existential fight to have people understand this, is that if you have an amplification chamber on the conservative side of media, which they do, you can sell literally any message you want. Not literally, but almost any message you want. And once you've figured out how to do the messaging like that, like the synergy that you need between your parts, then you can message on whatever you want. But until the establishment of the Democratic Party figures that out, nothing will work. No type of messaging, no type of signaling, everything will just continue to be fucked. But that has to be figured out at some point.
Public position. He has positions on the war in the Congo, on Sudan, and all these other conflicts that are on his website. But he doesn't have one for Ukraine, doesn't mention it,
So
he doesn't tweet about it, he doesn't message about it. The only reason I find out about it is because I'm asking, hey, I'm going to fundraise for candidates. I'll fundraise. I will definitely fundraise. I care about politics. I care about the movement. But I'd like to know their position on Ukraine because I want to know if, they're going to be for these, like, stopping these nursing homes from blowing up, right? And that's my that's my lived experience. It's impossible for me to remove the emotionality of that. And the fact that he didn't have a progressive position, that he in some ways has a worse position than even the Trump administration, because the Trump administration
hates
they
everybody.
at least want to sell Ukraine weapons. They at least buy something. They get some of the air defense systems. They get some of the artillery shells. They get some of the intelligence necessary to defend their state. But under my assumption of his position and what I was being told, it seems.
Hold on, I thought 8,000 in Gaza are all dead civilians, where the millions in Russia are all combatant deaths. Well, the vast majority of Russians killed are probably going to be militants, just because Ukraine is fighting a defensive war. I don't know what the breakdown is between civilian and military deaths on the Ukrainian side. It wouldn't surprise me if it was like 30-70 civilians to militants dead on, or worse, because like Mariupol and everything, a lot of those people killed were civilians, right? It might be, I wonder if it's 50-50. I don't know if I just haven't seen any numbers on any of this. It's people.
What percent of the the Gaza death toll is civilian?
Huh. Well, that's an interesting question, Mooten.
Do you know?
Nobody does, because they don't say. My guess, based on everything I've seen, is it's probably 20 to 30,000 military deaths versus like
50,000,
40 to 50,000 civilian deaths, probably. But like they don't really announce military deaths.
People.
It is, but technically in a war, it's nobody wants to hear it, but those are pretty good numbers in terms of like, are you really targeting military people given like the density of the population and everything? But nobody talks about how many of them are. If you ask anybody that, they'll get triggered and it'll break their brain and they'll start screaming at you.
People don't usually want to hear about Israel-Palestine because you did it for like 3 months. So
no. I'm saying for the pro-Palestinian people, you can't talk about, well, how many people killed were Hamas? They won't even engage with the question. They'll start to scream at you. They'll go crazy on it. But yeah. What are you gonna do?
Okay.
To be that he doesn't want anything to go over to them. So then how do you defend the hospitals?
Yes,
how do
it's
you
not even
defend the schools?
opportunistic. It's explicitly anti-Ukraine at that point.
Yeah, and I just want to know, like, if the position was, if we had an event where we were fundraising for progressive candidates, would PV have asked people like Crystal Ball or Hassan Piker to fundraise for a candidate that calls himself progressive if they wanted to, if their response to Palestine was, oh yeah, I support Palestine. I mean, I don't really want to stop any of the aid to Israel. I don't actually want to do anything on this, but of course, but I support Palestine.
God damn it.
Someone would say, do you support Palestine? I mean, AOC, for abstaining on a vote for defensive aid to Israel when it comes to these things, she got so much heat from parts and sections of the progressive left. A candidate cannot have a position on this whatsoever, not want to defend Ukraine after we asked Ukraine to disarm itself and threaten them with starvation.
Hold on.
And then...
What the fuck is this? Fuck! I can't look at this fucking woman. What is the source of the wood meme? What was that guy even talking about that everybody was like... do you know?
The source of the wood?
Of the wood meme. Look at my Twitter, the picture I just tweeted. What is the source of that?
Twitter, let me look.
Where does that come from? What is the guy talking about that everybody's like...
No idea.
Morbler is our resident lefty retard. I keep it around so we can see the lefty talking points. More kids were blown up in Gaza than any other conflict in the world in an incredibly small amount of time. Why were we just looking at the death count? This shit is retarded. So what's retarded is using the Western definition of kid and then saying that kids were killed in Gaza at some record rate, right? Like 15, 16, 17-year-olds aren't fighting or holding rifles or fighting or whatever. I think that it is worth talking about. I would agree that there is a unique tragedy around the deaths of children, like when you're talking about like actual kids, but that is like a difference in kind to like a person with an assault rifle who's fighting you, who might be 15, 16, 17-year-old. They're a child in our eyes, but I mean, Yeah. It reminds me of when there was this really fucking retarded talking point that the left uses right now in America, which is firearms are now the #1 killer of children. And that's because it's technically true, and it's either from the ages of 0 to 19 or 0 to 18. But when you look at like the deaths, it's like nothing, until you get to like 15, and then it goes up a little, then 16, and then like 17 and 18 is like, it like spikes. It's like, okay, yeah, obviously it's gang-related violence. It's not like, when you say kids, you're trying to evoke the idea of like a crying baby or like a 5-year-old waddling around or whatever. Not, like a 16-year-old with an assault rifle who's fighting you as an enemy combatant, Leaked Russian documents put 800,000 dead for Russia out of 1.3 million, 100,000 above the estimates. Ukraine was like 500 to 650K. That sounds way too high. Not trying to downplay on either side, but that sounds really 800,000 dead. What, military people or military and civilians? That's a lot of that sounds really high. That would be crazy. Foreign worker bill enacted despite opposition. What a picture.
Ukraine candidates are being asked to fundraise for them. There's a different social standard around the war in Ukraine, and I fear that there's an assumption amongst many of us that the Democratic Party can't become like the Republican Party when it comes to this issue. And that if we don't make sure that we check people, some level of purity testing is necessary to make sure you have some moral foundation, some moral center. If you don't check these people, then ultimately they can get into power, and with a slim majority, they can cause real problems.
Yeah. No, I agree with that completely. And it's like the fact that we're using Israel-Palestine as a purity test, but we have absolutely no smoke for our same side for Taiwan, for Ukraine is kind of ridiculous, especially like if you want to say, hey, I like a lot of the progressive policies that an Oliver Larkin pushes, except he has this one thing on Taiwan. And maybe if that's the distinguishing factor between him and his opponent, like, sure. But if he's...
From what I've seen, some minors were involved in armed groups, but most child deaths are not confirmed as combatants. Yeah, because nobody's confirmed as a combatant on the other side. So it's up to the IDF to confirm them as combatants, and you guys don't like the numbers that they use either, so... Somebody said 208,755 dead Russian soldiers confirmed via social media posts. That's crazy. 250,000 dead Russian soldiers is insane.
On a panel about being anti-war, like, you're not doing an anti-war panel at that point. You're doing an anti-Iran or anti-Israel panel, which is kind of what like most of it was.
Europe don't fight pussy wars. 1 million dead or it's a skirmish. Okay.
Doing an anti-war panel at that point. You're doing an anti-Iran or anti-Israel panel, which is kind of what like most of it was. So yeah, I completely agree with that grievance.
Now, I don't think for me it's not just going to be a grievance, because this is what I wanted to announce on yesterday's stream. Now you can look it up on Twitter, you can look it up on Instagram, you can look it up on Blue Sky, or you can go directly to the website.
Yeah,
Ukraine track Ukraine at track Ukraine.com. Track Ukraine. Track Ukraine.com. Track Ukraine on Twitter. Track Ukraine on Blue Sky. Track Ukraine on Instagram. I've spent the last every day since the PV panel working with graphic designers, working with Ukrainians in the armed forces and outside of the armed forces, those who have been bombed by both the Israelis and the Russians, to create a group of ambassadors that can go speak to progressive candidates, as well as any candidate that would like to hear from the perspective of those directly impacted by colonialism. That's going to be attached directly to our Track Ukraine website, our Track Ukraine social media handles, and we're going to track the record of every candidate running for office possible on Ukraine.
This is kind of like Track APAC, but like for the Ukraine situation, Ben fully endorses this idea in chat. So I think this is awesome.
Let me tell you how it works. First, we see a campaign hasn't said anything about the war in Ukraine. Let's use Hartzell as an example. We don't just open up by saying, why do you hate Ukraine and all the Ukrainian babies or whatever?
Hello?
Oh, can you not hear me? 1, 2? 1, 2? Hello? Hello,
like,
can you hear me?
Oh, you're back. Yes.
Yeah, you lagged out for me.
Take this candidate as an example.
Yeah.
No, I think it was you. Mm-hmm. You're the problem, Dylan.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The last thing I heard was take this candidate, Hartzell, as an example.
What we would do is, for him, I know exactly the person because I have a list of Ukrainian socialists, non-socialists, Ukrainian people in the armed forces, people outside of the armed forces. I have a long list of a lot of Ukrainians seem actually really interested in participating in this, who would go and speak to them directly about the experience of the war, directly why they think it's necessary for ballistic missile defense that are slamming into hospitals, children's hospitals, nursing homes, that it's necessary, that America asked for Ukraine to disarm itself. Ukraine was asked to give up its atomic weapons, and Ukraine has been asked to depend upon the United States. And I do believe our promises matter, especially when it leads to the deaths of these people. And, our security is tied together in that manner. So they could go and talk about it from their perspective. They could talk about it from my perspective, whatever perspective they want, but they communicate to this person why it matters to them. Because my first inclination, right? I don't assume malice. My first inclination is you care about what you see. And a lot of people see what's happening in what they care about, whether it be Palestine, whether it be Sudan, but they don't see what's happening in Ukraine. And or they see
because, like you said, like a lot of the journalists have moved on for various reasons. Like a lot of people are just naive to the fact that it's still going on, the struggle still matters. Like it's just out of the conversation. So you could start off by saying maybe you're naive, and then move on from there, right?
Yeah, there's not an excuse for it, but that's easier to deal with and easier to fix, and you can fix it diplomatically in a way that's nice. And so we will have ambassadors for this. But when it comes to the idea of somebody doesn't want to communicate with us, does not want to talk to us at all, or talks to us but completely says, we're not going to support Ukraine, we're going to publicly list their positions and we're going to rank them on the issue. We're going to say, look, if you have a worse position than Donald Trump on the war in Ukraine, people care about this. This is the Democratic Party. This is the Democratic.
You think a judge is going to be happy to hear making the same claims of spoliation a year later and still nothing to back it up? Who knows? We'll see how it goes.
Party. This is not the Republican Party. Democrats believe that Vladimir Putin installed Donald Trump into the White House through misinformation and disinformation. Some of it's true, some of it isn't true, but that's the general perception of the Democratic Party. They see the type of government that's in Russia, and it's abhorrent, and how it treats homosexuals, and how it that allows no civil society. And they see what they've done to the Ukrainians, a people who asked us and them to consider their sovereignty when they gave up their atomic arsenal, and has continuously violated these treaties, committing atrocious war crimes, is engaged in cultural erasure and its form of ethnic cleansing in occupied territories. Right? And when I say ethnic cleansing, I mean that they are moving in settlers to take the homes of the people they displace. And if you take a home as a soldier, you can stay in that home. That this is they're implementing policies that are clearly meant to replace the local population with settlers. Right? Now, these types of things should appeal to progressives. So I imagine in conversations with people about whether or not we should align with Trump in displacing hundreds of thousands of more Ukrainians and what J.D. Vance is asking of them, I think that they'll respond positively. If they don't, then we will spend time to make graphics, to make clear to both people online, because progressives depend highly on online donations, but also the people in their own districts. We will design the graphics to specifically highlight their state. We will list the district that they're running in. We will list their email. We'll list their phone number, and we'll see if you can run in the Democratic Party, a party that 98%, I'm not talking even fake numbers, but over 90% of Democrats deeply support Ukraine and want to give aid to Ukraine. How are you going to run in a party if people know that's your position, that is against aid and support to Ukraine, and is for essentially abandoning Ukraine? Hartzell's position, in my opinion, is currently abandon Ukraine, right? Whether that was something he stumbled into or whether that was something he's thought through, that is the current position. If they don't course correct, you should take out a Blair.
Do you think we should call Hassan a genocide denier for not calling Ukraine a genocide? If we were calling Gaza a genocide, then so is Ukraine. Well, I mean, technically more so even, because I don't know if the ICJ has made definitive rulings yet, but there are actions that Russia's done that were challenged in the ICJ.
I was literally about to ask that.
Related to the abduction and displacement of children. But the thing is like, they'll just grant that. They just don't give a fuck. They'll say, oh yeah, that's definitely a genocide and we don't support that. But then they'll say that like NATO caused Russia to invade and blah, 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 and they don't want to do anything about it.
Would they grant it? I feel like they never talk about Ukraine.
They might, but they just don't talk about it much.
Horn, and you should be as loud as possible. An air horn, you should bring attention to it. And if necessary, we'll even spend advertising money, if that doesn't work, on trying to shift the party, because I will not allow, and I don't think other people who have a shred of decency should allow, the Democratic Party to take in our Marjorie Taylor Greens, to take in our Lauren Boeberts, our Paul Ann Lunas, and start hearing Russia Today talking points in our own party, right? Okay, podcaster and TikTok foreign policy.
Or they'll say, they do this weird thing where they say Israel is our responsibility more because we give money to Israel. But they never bring up the fact that we give a ton of money. The Gaza Strip was the highest recipient of aid in the world for per capita for the amount of people there. But nobody ever brings that up. So I don't know.
By just everybody, or by
in terms of like the amount of aid that was going into there versus the amount of people that were there. The Gaza Strip was the highest recipient of aid on the planet.
There's like 2 million people in Gaza?
Depending on who you ask, yeah.
I'm honestly really surprised that the death toll was A, that high, and B, that the civilian death toll is so much. And I know that you're saying like, well, that's kind of common in like war, etc., but
well, typically the numbers, when people go back and they look through armed conflict, the numbers get kind of crazy. It's like 9-to-1, I think, is like the average civilian to military death ratio. It's pretty insane. Although I don't know how overweighted that is on like World War II and shit, but I think for a lot of conflict, it's weighed pretty heavily in that direction, yeah. Like a lot.
Yeah, I would think for like Hamas, because it's a city that you're going into. I don't know. We talked about it in the past how Israel did do ground raids and it wasn't all just like bombing the fucking buildings, etc. But I would think that it would be a lot more pinpoint than, I don't know, 1 in 4.
1 in 3. But I mean, like, oh, that's an ally. Why did I shoot at my own cat? I mean, war's bad. It is what it is. What do you want to say? Yeah, shit's fucked.
Is fine online, but the aesthetics of Burning Man only go so far when you're dealing with the real lives of people. And if you're a congressperson and you're asking to have this type of power, you need to understand that that comes with a certain amount of public accountability, especially if you advertise yourself as anti-war.
All right. Yeah. Fucking base, dude. That's awesome. Like, you set this up like completely independently, and now you're just like.
I funded it all out of my own pocket. I paid for the website design. I paid for the description. I'm doing everything.
Wait. Okay. Do you use Synergy?
Yep.
Sometimes I feel like going between screens, my mouse gets stuck on just like the edge. Is there like a fucking setting for that?
I believe again, I'm on an old version of Synergy, but I think you can like move it up and down. And the problem is are all of your monitors the same size?
Yeah. Destiny, why don't you think USA destruction wasn't the big cause of the official declaration of famine? It even indirectly affects the closure of aid Israel adopted in 2025. Joffrey, because the issue with aid to going to the Gaza Strip was never the amount of aid. It was whether or not it could get in and be distributed to the people, is my understanding, is everything I saw on that. It was never that there was a lack of aid. There was a lack of the ability to get it to the people that needed it, basically. Now, who got blamed for that depends on who you ask. Some people said that Kogat or Israel was failing to get the aid in. Some people were saying that once the aid was in, Kogat or Israel was failing to deliver the aid to the people. Israel blamed Hamas. Some people blame some of the crazy Zionist people that were trying to block aid trucks from driving to the checkpoints. It just depends. There's a lot of people blaming a lot of different people for, but yeah.
Fund completely out of pocket. It costs a bit, but primary seasons right now, and how I'd like this to go is I'd like to basically start making these posts online, start getting the newsletters, start getting everyone's emails, giving people like activist updates about like what's going on, and once people see what's going on and once people see that their position could become public discourse, they reevaluate their position and they course correct. People remember that there was a letter from Rashida Tlaib and a bunch of other progressives, Jamal Bowman and others, early on in the war in Ukraine that was later deleted after conversations with not only Democratic leadership, also those who were directly affected by the war. Right? That was the progressive wing of the.
I heard Mr. Mooten say he's going to talk to IRI about the JCPOA.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I messaged IRI about the JCPOA and I was curious of why he doesn't like it specifically.
Does he really say that?
I believe in the one conversation that I had with him when the United States invaded Iran. Sorry, not IRI. It's Loanerbox. The person was wrong.
Oh, okay.
So Loanerbox does say that.
I don't understand, unless there's a thing that I'm missing. People do this thing. This happens a lot with the Oslo Accords in Israel, where people will say this deal was bad because it didn't go far enough or it didn't allow for something or whatever. But the issue that I have with people that say things like that is that like the JCPOA was not supposed to be like a final thing. Like these are always like piecewise, like like
frameworks,
kind of, yeah, and hopefully it's moving you in a better direction. But like when the thing doesn't come to fruition or there's not like a final arrangement reached, people will be like, oh, a failure. Like if you go talk to everybody in Israel, even people on the left, fuck, I don't remember their names anymore. Balin, Yossi Balin, who I want to say this guy was one of the big architects of the Oslo Accords? I don't remember. Fuck. We interviewed him though. We talked to him. But like even these guys will all say in Israel, even on the left, they're like, yeah, the Oslo Accords were a monumental failure. The failure of the Oslo Accords. Oslo failed. And it's like, well, not really. I think Oslo was a really, really good like step in the right direction. It just nothing like came from it ultimately, and people will say the whole thing was a failure as a result. But it's kind of like what people say with the ACA in the United States, like Obamacare was a failure because we didn't get a public option or because we didn't expand Medicare to single payer. Like, I mean, it's still a good step in the right direction.
But
same thing with the JCPOA.
From everything I saw, it seemed pretty based. Like they bring all of their uranium stockpile down to 3.67. That's not a joke. They were going to have way less of it. It lasts 15 years. They got rid of like two-thirds, half of their centrifuges. The UN and everybody could go in whenever the fuck they want and check everything out. I think someone linked an article, and in the article it was like a nuclear duder who was basically saying like, yeah, there's like a 99% certainty that if Iran was trying to proliferate further past 3.6 whatever, we would have been able to find out. So this seems like a really good deal to me.
Yeah. The idea is that theoretically Iran could have just taken the JCPOA and used that time and money to focus on other things like a ballistic missile or ballistic missiles, and then after it expires to start enriching again. Well, yes, that's how a deal works. After it expires, it's no longer in place. But then you work from there.
You work from the deal. I don't know, give it like 5 years, and then once it's going good, you can add on, you can talk more, you can give more restraints.
Hi, what's up, Anna?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I want to answer Muden's question, but in a good way, not like you did, Stephen.
What was that question?
About the actual casualties and how the count is going on in Ukraine, like what is happening. So in Mariupol, we have the biggest estimate done by Swedish Institute of Calculations of that sort of thing is 88,000. That's the biggest count in Mariupol, which was done about in a month. So in a time of like 3 weeks.
Wait.
Was
Is
the
that
number of
casualties or is that deaths?
death,
Yeah,
civilian death.
deaths.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
that's the highest number in Mariupol specifically. Yeah, the kind of like the lowest 25,000. So in between 25,000 to 88,000, let's say. That's kind of like that. You can't really tell, to be honest. Like, I don't know how they get so specific fucking numbers everywhere over there, like in Gaza, Israel. But here it's like difficult because Russia is occupying that place and they're not allowing anyone there. So you can't have like proper investigations. You can't have people like from United Nations, whatever the fuck, a justice court, anyone, right? And
And the
because of that,
population of
like,
that city is like 400,000?
Was.
yeah, it was
yeah.
at the time.
Jesus.
Yeah. So pretty heavy stuff. Like a lot of people obviously escaped as well. Were forced to escape. So you can count that as well. Most people actually ran. But when it comes to calculating, it becomes really difficult because most of the territory that is currently occupied right now, for example, we can't say at all, right? So there's no way to like legitimately say. When we, for example, deoccupied places like Bucha, Izum, well. We uncovered like mass graves, and 90% of the people in those mass graves were civilians. So, and the numbers were like 500, 600, something like that, right? At a very small villages, towns, right?
Yeah.
So if you calculate numbers like that, you can probably imagine that they didn't do that in just one town and one city, right? They did it in all sorts of places. So we can't say how many until those places are deoccupied. But it will be difficult even then because they fry people in like how are they called? There's like fire stuff you toss people to remove
Like an incinerator.
Yeah, body material. That's pretty common. So we can't really do anything about that. But the way they calculated was basically by satellite footage because they calculated how much the mass graves grew in Mariupol. So how many yards, like miles, I think you say in English, yeah, in American calculations, how many miles of cemetery was growing, right? So how many bodies were dumped, essentially, in graves. So that footage, and also from the morgue, from the local administration, and that's kind of how the calculation were done. But as far as like actually allowing people there, it's not allowed anywhere when Russia is occupied, which is 20% of the country. So. And Donbass used to be, for example, the most populated area of Ukraine. So a number of like people who actually lived there, it was way more populated than the west and the central parts. That's when it comes to actual, death toll of civilians that we do kind of like can calculate and know about. When it comes to how many people are refugees, it's about 6 million people, calculated by like United Nations and all sorts of people of that. It was 6 million refugees that went abroad. So like, other countries in Europe, whatever, right? And about 10 million were internally displaced. So they moved from the places they lived to other places in Ukraine. Yeah, those are kind of like the numbers. When it comes to the actual death toll of soldiers, it's not like it's like publicly announced every 5 seconds, but like as far as like estimations go, it seems to be around 500,000 on our end, and
dead or casualties?
Dead, it seems, and dead or injured. I mean, they say dead or injured, so you can't really. Yeah, and about so anywhere between 1 million and 2 million on Russian end. So let's say 1.5 million. It would be like the middle. And yeah, that's kind of like, that's a big boy war, European war kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Don't know what to tell you guys. The damage that was done to our infrastructure is actually worse than it was now at this point. Is worse than it was during World War II, which is kind of crazy. In terms of like the destruction to the infrastructure, civil infrastructure, and in particular like buildings that people live in. But that probably is because of how many cities were completely eradicated by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also different methods of weapons destructive way more now, obviously, than they were back then. So yeah, that's kind of like the overall calculation. When it comes to like how many Russians we fucking nuked, they basically died way more than they died in pretty much any war except World War II. And more by the rate, like anywhere, not like Afghanistan where they lost a lot of people, doesn't even come close to how much they lost here. So yeah, that's kind of like the broad, data. You can't really tell like super duper concrete numbers, and I don't know. We also don't present the numbers that are cookie. Maybe we should. Actually, Steven was telling me like one time, maybe you should like bloat your numbers, like to impress people. But we usually have we had yesterday a very bad bombing of multiple cities in Ukraine, and the numbers like 5 people here, 10 people here, 7 people here, 3 people here, a child here, like 40 people injured, right? So it's not like 200 people died, all of that. So. But there's a difference, though, because in our situation, we have way less population, first of all. It's less packed in terms of, we have more population in terms of numbers, but it's way less dense, right, than it is in Gaza. That's one thing. And second thing, we actually have, the government and the organizations that help us. They evacuate us. They try to help people out. We aren't even allowed in danger zones, civilians. You can't go there because, your safety will be more in danger than any of that place, right? So Hamas doesn't do that sort of shit, obviously. So because of that, I mean, no, I'm not saying that it's not Israel is not responsible for the people they kill, obviously, right? But it also is kind of partially the responsibility of the people, of the government of Gaza to protect the people, and they do the opposite because,
yeah,
obviously.
Definitionally so. It's considered part of your obligations in war, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why as well. But also, I heard you speak way back. One thing I wanted to ask you about people I think I was speaking with Mutin as well, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, how your hair dye? Go? Someone sent me a picture.
I just
it's yellow.
It's blonde right now, and then I think we're gonna wait a week, and then we're gonna do another bleach, and then it'll be blue then.
Blonde or yellow?
Like
or
yellow.
Canary?
I'm like a Super Saiyan right now.
Oh yeah, you're right. Your own hair is not that dark though. It's just medium dark, right?
Yeah,
it's how dark?
It's like brown, yeah.
Yeah, well.
We'll see.
Luck.
We're trying not to kill it, but it's feeling better. I put Olaplex and stuff in the hair, so.
I think if you want to dye your hair, I think you do have to kind of kill it.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's how
we're trying to kill it in the most responsible way possible.
Okay.
Exactly, that's how you do it. So you can kind of you either way bleach is destructive to hair. There's no way around it. Anyone who says otherwise is lying. There's no way to bleach your hair without damage. There are different kinds of damage. There is damage when it's a little bit frizzy and dry, and there's damage when it falls off out of your head. So those are different types of damage, and you don't want the other one, typically.
Yeah. I remember.
So,
I guess I didn't think I cared about my hair much, but I remember after I dyed it the first time, after I bleached it, I remember washing it in the shower.
Ooh.
It was really set. I almost couldn't even get my fingers into it. It was so unbelievably fried.
That's very dry. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, you have to really care for it.
No, it's way worse than coming out of the pool.
Way worse than that, yeah.
But after using that little, whatever that color conditioner shit I used for a year, whatever the fuck that was, though, I felt like my hair was back to normal in about a month. Just washing it for the regular.
Yeah, you have to moisturize it and you use hair masks and shit like that. You can't just walk around with natural hair, basically, right? You have to consistently care for it. Otherwise, it will look dry. I have been dyeing my hair since I was 15, so I'm a little bit of an expert on that subject. But it's also there are dyes that are way less destructive as well that actually nourish your hair. For example, direct pigments, stuff like that. So you bleach your hair and then you apply direct pigments, and they just kind of restore the follicles in your hair. They close them, so they are not as frizzy. So that helps a lot of things. But you can't expect to just walk around like you are having natural hair. It's not gonna be the same.
100%. Yeah, we put a hair mask in last night for the whole night, and then I washed it out this morning, and my hair's feeling a lot better already.
Hell yeah! Because I was shown the picture and I was like, oh. The canary yellow.
I feel like I could be wrong. I don't. It's not like I know much about hair dyeing. I've only done it one time. But don't you want to dye it right after you bleach it, or like because if you start taking care of it and you make it feel nice again, and then you go to dye it, won't the dye not hold as well?
Closes, yeah. It kind of closes the follicles in the hair because
yeah, we're gonna bleach it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, after the bleach, you can take pauses between bleaching. That's good. But you after bleaching, you should dye it because your hair will be open and the dye will seep into the hair much better if it actually is straight after the bleach, basically.
Yeah. So I think, well, she's gonna feel it today, so we might do it today. But probably next week we're gonna do it again, and then immediately after, we're gonna dye it.
Are you
But we
the
want
only
it to
one
be
who's
like a
doing
nice
like
color.
that?
Am I the only one saying
blue?
it? Yeah, I'm the only
You're
blue
the only
person.
one who's. What are the other people doing? Like nobody agreed to any manipulations.
Dan did a mohawk, and Wick cut his beard.
Yeah, Wick shaved.
Oh yeah, we cut his beards. I didn't recognize him. Okay, I didn't know it was him. I'm joking. I knew it was him, but I was also very drunk, so I didn't notice the beard that much, to be honest. We had like the entire continent was shit faced after Orban lost. I feel like for like 2 days at least, and I wanted to call in, but then crowd called in and he was shit faced, and I thought like 2 drunk Europeans on your stream is a bit much, so I decided not to do it.
Nice.
Does it seem like the funding is going to get vetoed from Hungary?
Funding? You mean for Ukraine? The one they vetoed? Kind of hope so, but like I'm not 100% certain, to be honest, because like I understand like Magyar has to sort of cater towards the population, and in the meantime, for 16 years of Orban, and especially in the recent 4 years, there have been extensive anti-Ukrainian propaganda in Hungary. So quite a bit of the population is very sort of like negative towards us. At least 50% thinks we're like there and or some shit. So, you need to like deal with that. And he can't be just like, yeah, go Ukraine. Like, I mean, the statements he already made are much better, obviously, than Orban. He said the aggressor is Russia, that Ukraine has a full right to defend itself, will not be like, getting in their way. Also, he's like frying every Russian motherfucker there right now, which I fucking love. He went on the show. Have you guys seen? On the first time he was on news, big like news show, because Orban didn't allow any of his opposition to be anywhere in the news on the TV at all. So this was the first time him appearing after he already won on a national news channel, right? And he's like, went there and he's like, actually, you know what? I'm dismantling this shit. Like, you're cancelled.
Yeah,
like
I think
you
it was
were
on
like
the,
serving them.
they posted on the server this morning.
That was hot, dude. That was so good. Like after watching like everyone sucking Trump's dick and like him popping off on that show, and her face was like, and she's like, wait, we didn't, and he's like, yeah, you did. You smeared me, you smeared my family. You didn't allow any opposition to be presented. They didn't even allow posters of him in the city, which is fucking crazy if you think about it. Like we had Zelensky everywhere, but there was no Magyar anywhere. So yeah, it's actually so cool that he won despite being so like so many obstacles, right, for him to do proper campaign, to actually like be in people's faces, to be on TV and all of that, and still people show up with 80%, nearly 80% of voting. People show up to vote. Like that's insane. Like
pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. So that was like a crowd actually vomited on stream. So that's kind of based when we were on Wick's panel, but. He then ended up being lecturing people about like in a good way, like he knows quite a bit of history. So he was politely barfed off screen and then returned to proceed to educate us on the history, very based. Nice. Yeah. Well, before I spoke about the hair dye, there was like this thing I wanted to talk about Israel when you said like that people bring up the fact that they warn the population. Like before they do strikes and shit like that. I heard that being brought up quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what's your opinion on the matter, like Steven, but I heard like research, some people being like, how is that better? Or is it like, how is that like a plus? And I'm like, dude, like, I'm not sure, like, what do you mean? Because like Russia doesn't warn us about literally anything. You just get blasted with ballistics straight in your face and that's about it. So there's no like warnings. Our air raid alerts are our air raid alerts. So it's our people, warning us that something is incoming. I never in history of mankind have Russia warned anyone about anything. So I'm like not sure how people can see it in the negative light.
It's for the pro-Pally people in the West. It doesn't really matter. Nothing. There's always going to be a reason why it's either not enough, or I had some guy the other day say, I don't know if you believe this, or he's saying some people make this argument that like it's actually just a form of harassment that they'll like door drop or what do they call it, roof knock or whatever in white areas, but then they don't bomb it afterwards, so they just do it to be terrorists, or I don't know. There's nothing you can really do that people just don't want Israel to fight with the Palestinians at all, so they take issue with everything. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, because I was kind of like confused because like obviously if you are a person in that situation, it's obviously shit. People come to you and you have to abandon your home with the risk, everything you own. I know that. I experienced that. So obviously I don't really, I'm not saying that's not like horrible, but like, yeah, but to think about of it as a negative, as someone who was never warned about literally anything when it comes to Russian shells or like bombing or anything like that, it's just kind of strange concept to like warp your mind around, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's kind of it, I think. We're all hyped about the whole fucking Orban thing. It's been 16 years of this dog shit, so it's pretty pleasant to see. People are super welcoming to Hungary as well, which I think is good because there was a lot of negativity, obviously, towards them because of the deep throat in Russia and Trump and all that Orban was doing. And it quite, affected people's attitudes towards Hungarians. But I think all of that is kind of cleansed now immediately because we all saw, that they came through to change that.
That's good. And then I get to be a little happy about it because for whatever fucking weirdo reason, the American administration right now seems to support every dictator on the planet. So having Vance go over there and try to say, Orban, you can do it or whatever, and then to see him get crushed, feels good.
Oh, and Trump literally was about to say, he did say, he's not about to say, he's actually said that he will like literally pay money to Hungarians if they vote for Orban, which was fucking crazy.
Oh, I didn't even say that, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, he made like a post on Truth Socials, if someone can like in the chat link it, that he was like, if you like go do the right thing and like vote for Orban, I will invest like a shit ton of like American money into Hungary, so do this.
Dumb.
Yeah, like straight up.
We kind of did the same thing with is it Argentina or is it Chile? Where is the Milei guy or whatever? Which fucking country is this in South America?
Argentina, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
maybe. Oh,
Argentina,
was it
yeah.
Argentina? Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, where I think Trump was trying to run down there, and we did that whole weird soybean shit with them because Trump likes Milei so much.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know. It's just
I remember that, but like this was a little bit like insane because it was like a couple days before the elections, and it's just it's just rough on the party that says like, oh, Ukrainians did. One said that Ukrainians did interference in the Hungarian elections while he was there.
Sure.
And I'm like, bro, like, what? Can you relax a little bit?
Yeah.
But now you're beefing with the man of God himself, I guess. That's your new beef.
The Pope, yeah.
The Pope,
I'm sure you noticed,
so
or I don't know if you've perceived this yet for like the way that Russian propaganda works. The reason why historically, the reason why people make up claims about what the other side does isn't to say that it's bad. It's to give them the justification to do the exact same thing, right? So like,
I know that.
Yeah. So that's why they say like, oh, well, you guys are interfering in their election. Not to say that that's bad, but to say like, that's why we're going to interfere next. It's fucking, it's stupid.
Yeah. They do that all the time, mostly to like Democrats themselves, because they be like, oh, they did that because so it means we can do that, like the exact same thing, right? But the problem is in like 90% of cases, in 90% of cases, Democrats didn't do that.
Sure.
So that kind of like cancels out the whole thing. And even if they did do that, then that still doesn't explain why the fuck they're allowed to do the bad thing, right? It's not like it's a pretty common strategy. The Russians kind of use it in a bit more. I guess you could say in a different sort of manner, but it's principally the same thing. So they would use, you bombed people in Donbass that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the big one, right? You guys were genociding the people in Donbass. So if we have a few civilian deaths, I mean, like you guys are literally causing a genocide and shit like that, yeah. Or like, we might be moving in like Russians, or we might be taking over places, but you guys banned the Russian language and you were hostile towards your Russian population. Like it's all these things to give them the excuse to do it, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, which none of them are true, which makes it extra sucky.
Sure.
But Oh, by the way, I forgot Mutin already left, but I forgot the settlements, by the way, how many people were deported and how many people estimated to be settled in, which is actually insane numbers, like absolutely insane.
Yeah.
How much Russians they settled in Mariupol and the other cities they occupied and towns is like actually mental. Like even if we ever take that back, it's gonna be like absolutely fucking shit show. Let's put it that way. Because there would be so many. I kind of hope they will just run, like on their own. But otherwise, I have no idea. Like what in the shit do you even do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's annoying because that's the plan. That's the goal, right? Is once you have a bunch of people there, it's hard to make them leave. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you will always look like the
ethnic cleansing is the word we use now because we don't use population transfer anymore. We talk about ethnic cleansing, so it's like the worst fucking thing in the world to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because also I kind of disagree with you, by the way. I never met a leftist who admitted that what is happening in Ukraine is genocide. Like, they would laugh in your face if you say that. I don't agree that they will bite that bullet. They don't even accept Holodomor to be a genocide.
Well, they wouldn't for the Holodomor, of
topic
course.
Of the conversation.
But I think for everything that I found with Ukraine today, usually they just don't want to touch it, so they'll just grant whatever, but they'll say it's because of NATO expansion, and then they just move on. They might not actually say it's a genocide, I'm not sure.
Maybe
but
you're right, I don't know, but I never encountered that.
Yeah, they'll either grant it and move on, or they'll say something like, sure, but we're funding Israel, so that's what makes it worse. We don't fund Russia. They'll say some shit like that and then move on. So it's, but somebody like Jackson Hinkle or whatever, Jackson Hinkle or Haas, they wouldn't grant that 100% no. But somebody like Hassan, I don't know.
I don't know. I can't imagine him uttering a sentence like that. To be honest with you, it just doesn't work with like I recently posted a picture repost that was in year 1933 in Chicago. There was a bunch of Ukrainians, no black and white photo, a bunch of Ukrainians in Chicago trying to bring attention to Holodomor and to protest basically a lack of action against it in the world. And there were all American commies who came in and started beating them up.
Okay.
So iconic, this photo. It's so representative of how they behave now with the Iranians who protested the regime in Iran now, and Cubans who protested Maduro's regime. It's like literally the exact same thing that keeps happening. Although like Holodomor was obviously way worse than any of that. But it's just, I just can't imagine yourself being that guy. You're like Ukrainian in 33, and you like know that in your homeland, people are dying the most horrendous, like painful death imaginable, eating shoelaces and dust, food being confiscated. They've been shot in the head if they try to leave the area to find food elsewhere, or they try to steal back the food that is being taken by them, by Moscow from them, right?
Yeah.
And that's 4 million people at the very least who died that way. And
there was actually there was a really crazy tweet by, did you see the ContraPoints one?
About...
Oh, people got real mad at this one, but they were like, if you're trying to understand something, like think about it this way, like imagine...
Oh, yeah, I commented on that. Hillary.
Yeah, and then imagine funny. Israel is Russia and the Ukrainians are the Palestinians, and they're all starving to death. It doesn't really look like they're just starving themselves now, does it? You would call it a genocide 1 trillion. Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's actually incredibly annoying to me still to this day to see there's an Evan guy on Twitter who's like a lefty dipshit that has a lot of like followers and
Wait,
views
Evan,
and
the
things
wolf
like
guy
that.
or whatever?
Fuck, I don't know if it's the...
If it's who I'm thinking, I see his tweets all the time, but okay, go ahead, never mind, yeah. Or E1 loves Worf or something?
No, I don't think there's a surname there. I'm not sure. There were so many dipshits on this platform that you kind of forget how they're all called.
Sure.
That there was like this guy who people thought was just a leftist, and people like liked his comments because he was like shitting on Trump on occasion. But he was like basically now doing the whole fucking Holodomor didn't happen thing, they all do. And then he made recently a comment today or yesterday that people only talk about Holodomor because Black Book of Communism or some shit. It's like so mental because that book was like in the way later than Holodomor happened and people talked about it. There were like other people. It's just pretty crazy. We have only recently it has been recognized as genocide, like in like relatively recent times by like many European and Western countries. And I mean, it's just something about it just always irks me. Like nothing is done to us is ever worth anyone's notice, or is called a bad word, so to speak, right? Like, and it took years of trying to prove it. And there was like this one guy who actually came here during the Holodomor, and he initially wrote about it as if it's like, it's not man-made famine. But then he came here and he actually learned what was happening. And he's like, holy fucking hell. It's like the worst thing I have seen in my entire life. It's the man-made 100% people are shot, when they try to even get food or like escape their area.
Or even
and
escape their city, Yeah. Basically,
so
like the problem with America is we kind of like have our own little playground, and we borrow words and terms from like other parts of the world, and then we talk about them so much here that they lose all meaning. But then Americans will go run to the rest of the world to try to project the meaning that we've created domestically onto other people, and then that's where all of the dumb shit happens. Like for the longest time, America. We did have a bit of a red scare here where people were like obsessed about communism and stuff related to communism. But the problem is that got distilled down into a hatred of everything to the left. So you get people like Rush Limbaugh who would constantly talk about how like Obama and all of these people are horrible communists. So then you have a younger generation of people who only see communists as like
Obama communist.
And then they see a communist as like an attack word, and they're like, well, if somebody doesn't like, because that thing like communism killed 100 million people, they would use that to attack Barack Obama. And then so like everything is just fucking stupid. It's just dumb.
Obviously. I mean, I understand that, but like at the end of the day, it's just kind of difficult to sort of deal with that, because especially like it's so callous and so like careless,
Well,
in
but
like
the
the
issue
worst
there
possible way.
is that if you guys were just a little bit browner, then we could care about your culture. Because you're white, it doesn't really, you don't have any respect. If you guys were, brown, then you guys would be running around, go blah, 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 and then scream that you need to have more respect for your culture and that everybody needs to pay attention to your guys' pain and suffering more. But sorry, you rolled poorly there.
We got different sort of treatment. But it's just kind of nuts when you think about it, especially like since it's so blatant. Like they had like rules on it, was state policy, so it wasn't like random shit. There were like laws on, for example, right, that were it basically said that if Ukrainians are stealing, so to speak, food they themselves grew and has been taken, that it's permissible to shoot them. So
I mean, if you want a real meme, if you ever want to actually feel suicidal or you actually want to kill yourself, anytime you talk to these people at the Holodomor, watch how much they'll waffle back and forth on it. Bring up the potato famine, the Irish potato famine, and all of them will immediately say, "Oh, that was a British mandated genocide of the Irish 1 trillion%." They'll immediately say that.
Western. That.
And it's just like
the Irish say that, okay?
Yeah. Yep. They'll immediately say, "Oh yeah, genocide, 100%." Yeah.
Yeah, I talked with the multiple Irish people, and I was like, if anyone, in this world should understand what Holodomor was, it would be them. But alas,
Yeah.
if it's the English, then it's the worst thing ever happened in the history of mankind. If it's here, but then it's like just a tiny mistake, miscalculation, whatever, a big flop. Yeah, and then the fact that that it only happened obviously here, and they bring up, I always hear tankies bring this up, that it's not true because it also happened in Kuban. And that was actually hilarious because that was in Russia, yes, but
wait.
75%
It also happened
people,
in, what did you say? You're thinking of?
Did I cut off?
Yeah, wait, you said it happened. It's also hilarious because it happened in what?
There's a region called Kuban. It was part of Russia, and they bring it up as as a proof that it didn't happen just in Ukraine, which is hilarious because if you actually spend 3 seconds Googling, you will learn that majority of people there were ethnically Ukrainian and 75% of the population spoke Ukrainian.
Mm-hmm.
So that area that they bring up as example that is Russian and people died there in mass during Holodomor is just, they were Ukrainian.
Sure, yeah.
And what's hilarious as well, they then replaced them with Russians and they prohibited the language immediately. So they transferred all the schools into being Russian, all the curriculums to be in Russian, and stopped the printing in Ukrainian immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So
not good.
Okay. Yeah, you can't really make it more obvious if you tried, but it has been a battle, unironically, to get recognition for this.
Mm-hmm.
for such a long time. I mean, we kind of wanted, I guess, not with tankies, but with like regular people, obviously, because it has been recognized. As far as like what you said about the children, then UN officially recognized it as a crime against humanity.
Okay.
But I'm not sure like about the G word, how they feel about that one. But recently, like a couple months ago, they actually recognized it as a crime against humanity. Which I mean, sounds bad to me. I don't, I don't know why. I don't think we need the G word on literally everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
But apparently you do, I guess, if you want to bring any sort of.
If you want anybody to care.
You know. Yeah. I mean, no Jews, no news applies, I guess.
Indeed.
But also, some person in the chat actually said, I saw, shout out to that person, said that Zelensky is the only Jew who gets no news.
He's got to play into that Judaism more, you know?
I mean, he
or
does
actually,
talk
no, wait,
with,
never
like,
mind. That would be bad because technically he's the one getting attacked, so they wouldn't care, I guess, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think in this climate, to be honest, that like his Jewish card is worth
much.
pulling out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. Anyway, it was kind of fun to see Hungarians rip off the posters of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was like this funny meme that Ukrainians made that Hungarians being disappointed at the box at the voting box when they don't see Zelensky as a candidate, because like there was so much of him that you might unironically think that he was running for being president of Hungary.
Nice.
Yeah. Have you seen the Absolute Cinema meme?
Yes, yeah. Of
With
the
the-
new leader looking at Orban or whatever in the palace, yeah.
Yeah, my God, it's so fresh, dude, to see like actually like a young person, okay, like not like fucking 80-year-old
90-year-old politician,
fucking
yeah.
yeah. See, that actually engages like with the people in like ways that younger people can relate to.
Mhm.
Kind of nice, isn't it?
Indeed. Well, don't worry. We're going to have a young 60-year-old president here in the United States soon, and it's going to be amazing, okay?
Actually, will be young by your standards, I think. How old was Pelosi when she was doing this fucking trip to Taiwan, I think?
I feel like Pelosi is like 80 or 80 plus now. Pelosi,
yeah, I thought she was like
she's 86 years
90
old.
or something.
Yeah.
Holy moly, dude! Like this is like dementia stuff. Honestly, like it shouldn't be in the fucking like. No, I know you love your boy Biden. Like no offense to him, like he was like way less senile and demented in comparison to Trump, obviously, to anyone with like eyes and ears. But like still ancient duder. Like give it a rest, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, they do be
Well, maybe
getting
have
old.
someone new.
Maybe, yeah, hopefully next election we'll get somebody, yeah.
People say like I saw like Olsaf or Olsaf.
Asaf,
Oh, yeah. That one guy is like sort of cool, like, and there was another. He's also like sort of at least charismatic and not ancient, so maybe that.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. 2 years, 3 years from now, so 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, get a hottie like Maria, okay? That will help.
We'll do our best, okay? I believe.
Yeah.
What? I'm assuming everything cut off? Okay.
Campaign on the importance of vaccines could have health messaging campaign on the importance of vaccines could have stopped this surge of measles cases as it had in past outbreaks. But I was appalled to learn that the CDC suspended public health messaging on vaccines last February. It ended a successful flu vaccine campaign as well. My question is, did President Trump approve your decision to end CDC's pro-vaccine public messaging campaign?
You got a lot of misinformation there, first
No,
of all.
I'm asking you a question. I
Let me
appreciate a
respond
response
to the
question.
misstatements that you've made.
No, you have other opportunities. I have limited time.
I only have
Please
you're
answer my
the only
question.
opportunity I have
Did
to
President Trump approve
respond.
your decision to end CDC's pro-vaccine public messaging
Allow me to respond to a lot of the misinformation.
No, answer my question, please, sir. I have limited time.
There's a global measles epidemic. We've done better in preventing it than any country in the world.
There is no country that has seen a bigger percentage increase.
That's not true. Mexico has 3 times our measles, and they have 1/8 of our population.
Approve your decision to end the CDC's
Does Mexico vaccinate for the measles?
Canada has double the measles, and they have 1/8 of our population.
Did he approve that?
We've done better at preventing measles than any country in the world.
Mexico is experiencing a major measles. This is a New York Times summary. Mexico is experiencing a major measles outbreak with over 13,000 confirmed cases and 35 deaths reported between January 2025 and mid-March 2026. The surge, driven by low vaccination rates, has severely affected Jalisco, and Chihuahua, threatening the country's measles-free status.
Trump, approve your decision to end the CDC's pro-vaccine public messaging campaign.
We've done better at preventing
That's
measles
not answering my question,
and ending the epidemic
That is not
than any
answering my
country
question. And I
in the
think you don't
world.
want to answer the question because I think you know
I want to respond
that
to
you are
your
making
misinformation.
Terrible decisions that impact very, very real lives, especially the lives of children. Now, one thing that I find incredible is that you suspended this pro-vaccine messaging campaign, but somehow you're spending taxpayer dollars to drink milk shirtless in a hot tub with Kid Rock. And somehow you think that's a better public health message
Your time is
than
expired
informing
by a
the
minute.
public about the importance of vaccines?
I see the Minnesota thing. Talk to me when they charge the people that actually shot and killed, or whatever, the Renee Good and the Preddy stuff. Jesus, I don't care about random ICE agents being charged for assault in Minnesota. That's nice. It's good. That's great. They should do it. But tell me when the big charges come, okay?
Gentle lady's time is expired.
Really? I yield back.
You don't have anything to yield. Mr. Smucker.
Jesus. Ilhan Omar is calling for MTG to be brought into the fold. Oh.
Biggest streamers. I'm sure you've been aware that one of your biggest streamers, Hassan Piker, has been in the middle of this weeks-long debate inside the Democratic Party about whether people should go on his stream, as more politicians do go on Twitch. I saw Gavin Newsom was gaming on there somewhat recently. I mean, you've obviously dealt at various times with Hassan Piker. You guys have taken him off the platform. He's kind of come back on. Temporarily kind of suspended him. What's your perspective as you kind of watch this play out? Do you think that people are kind of misunderstanding, or anybody in the Democratic Party is kind of misunderstanding his audience or his kind of popularity there? What do you think as you're watching this debate?
Yeah. So look, I don't have an opinion on any particular streamer. I think it's absolutely the case that one of the challenges when you're live streaming is you're up there and you say a lot. And when you say a lot, especially as you're more inflammatory, you might say a lot of things that are over the top. Now, for us, the way we handle that is we have a very clear set of community guidelines where we do not allow certain type of behavior. If you violate that, then we take enforcement actions and we suspend you. It's designed not to kick you off forever. It's designed to say, no, you're going to have a suspension.
Forever.
Whenever Hassan has stepped over the line, we've taken action. And it's interesting now because those folks will get worked up from both the right and the left on this because we have also conservative people that are saying certain things that some people don't like.
Who?
Asmongold,
sorry.
Kind of works well on Twitch is if you don't like what someone's saying, then don't go and listen to them.
Yeah, right.
And then it's not in your face at all, literally.
Yeah.
It doesn't get injected into you like you got to go see it.
Totally.
No, you disagree. And so, in general, we think it is important for us to allow people to express themselves.
I mean, technically, what he's saying is true. I mean, it does feel like they're treating Asmongold and Hassan get the same treatment. I guess that maybe is just personal for me. I just don't know how the fuck I'm still banned on that platform, given how seemingly extreme a lot of the rhetoric is over there now.
Gas prices. How much longer will Americans continue to see these high gas prices?
Well, they're not very high. If you look at what they were supposed to be in order to get rid of a nuclear weapon,
God.
with the danger that entails. So the gas prices have come down very much over the last 3-4 days. I know, and that's what ABC says. But the fact is that if you look at the stock
fake news gas
up,
reporters, God damn it.
everything's doing really well.
On gas prices, how much longer will Americans...
Oh, this was the tweet from ContraPoints. I usually try to explain it like this. Picture Stalin as Hillary Clinton. Now imagine she's Israeli. Doesn't look so much like the Holodomor was caused by peasants burning their own food now, does it? Gun to your head, name one thing Stalin did wrong. There's obviously plenty of correct answers to this challenge, but a good way to troll a tanky, if they actually ask you this with a gun to your head, would be to bring up Stalin's position on the creation of Israel. Oof. Damn, and the lefties are piling onto her. Whew. If Stalin looked like Hillary Clinton, would you let him into your house to film a shitty documentary? Natalie, did they give you a drug that makes you ponder the apocalyptic horrors you witness while hanging out with Hillary and reference it loosely in everything you post? Last time you did this, you accidentally confirmed Israel's nuclear threat against the West. Hillary Clinton as Stalin would have offered a means-tested tax credit instead of launching the most incredible government-run industrialization program in world history, which saved every Slav in Europe from being exterminated by the Nazis. Jeez, kulaks are peasants now? Jesus.
However, of some famous words spoken by a guy by the name of Mao Zedong.
I don't get it. Can you explain? Well, what Natalie or what ContraPoints is saying is that lefties won't consider the Holodomor a genocide because most of them will defend Stalin, even though they spent so long saying like, "Whoa, that wasn't a real communist regime." Now they just will defend Stalin. But if you were to play out the Holodomor, or actually the Holodomor didn't even happen. I'm sorry, the Holodomor was before Stalin even came to power. So I actually don't even know why they would defend. Wait, let me check. No, wait, never mind. Stalin was in power during the Holodomor. Yes, he was. Never mind. If something akin to the Holodomor would have happened under Israeli occupation of the Palestinians or whatever else, they would obviously call that a genocide, no matter what. But obviously none of these standards are applied to any socialist or communist state or whatever. Hi, what's up?
A quick point, yeah, the Holodomor was done by Stalin, but there's another thing, just very quickly, sorry. The point a lot of tankies make when they talk about industrialization saving the Slavs from extermination is that Stalin industrializing the Soviet Union and Ukraine and Russia and all these countries created enough military and economic capacity so that they could resist the Nazis in the military sense. And that's kind of like the argument they make, because if it's like even though it's very immoral, some of them would say the Holodomor, they would say that despite the Ukrainians dying, they industrialized enough that they could have beat the Nazis in a conventional conflict. That's all. Sorry.
Okay. Wait, I don't understand.
You don't understand? Okay, so like.
Or wait, what are you saying? They're saying? Or yeah, say that again.
They're saying that the Holodomor is necessary in order to clear enough land for factory use and to industrialize and to mechanize the entire economy of the Soviet Union, so the economy could be geared towards the military and they could use the military capacity to fight the Nazis. And that's why the Holodomor was kind of justified. They're not saying it was justified because the kulaks were just worthless people. It was justified because they needed to industrialize in order to fight the Nazis. Now, a counter argument to that would be, did Stalin fucking have like telekinesis and could sense that Hitler was gonna invade him like 20 years or 10 years before it happened? No, but in hindsight, many of them would argue that it kind of like saved the Soviet Union from total destruction.
Huh. Okay. I don't think I've heard that argument before, but okay. I'll take it for it.
No, yeah, okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Be careful.